Oh, hi. Don't mind us. We're just sitting here talking football, waiting for the Buckeye game to start. Oh, did you want to join us? All right, then. This is the Curtis and Associates Fan Tailgate Show.
Curtis and Associates, attorneys who care. Call 614-GOT-HURT. That's 614-GOT-HURT.
Live from Hollywood Casino Columbus, here's Tim May, the Big Cat Andy Katzenmoyer, and Anthony Rothman.
All right, welcome aboard, and welcome back to Hollywood Casino Columbus. Anthony Rothman alongside the Big Cat, the former All-American linebacker, Andy Katzenmoyer, ready for a big one. About 2,500 miles west, Tim May has planted his flag in Eugene, Oregon. We can't wait to get you ready for the Buckeyes and Ducks. You know, 34 straight times Oregon has been a favorite at home, but guess what? Not tonight. The Buckeyes go in as the favorite, as the second-ranked team in the country, and they are ready to do some damage. Big Cat, this one has the feel of a huge game. I want to get your opinion, though, on just the ramifications of it, how you would feel if you were a Buckeye player in this. Now we're in a 12-team playoff, so the loser still has a way to circle back. You might even see him again in the Big Ten championship. Does any of that seep into the mindset tonight, or do you feel like do guys play this as old school, like almost feel like you're playing it as if you were eliminated if you lose?
No, I think, first of all, yes, this is a huge game. Every player knows it. We talked last week about how Ohio State doesn't have to get up for this week. You know, focus on taking care of business against Iowa. This week will take care of itself as far as the excitement, anticipation. But they've been looking forward to probably this game since it was announced. There's no need for them to do anything crazy or special. Just go out and continue to build on what they've done so far. And I think Ohio State can come out with a victory. When
you look at Oregon and you look at this offense right now, we know it's going to be perhaps the biggest challenge they've faced, but what is it specifically? I mean, Dylan Gabriel's been around a long time. You know, he's a lefty. He can move. Anything different in what you're going to see offensively tonight, certainly that you haven't seen this season?
I think it'll be probably the most dynamic offense they've played all year so far. You have an experienced quarterback, like you said, who came in. He's been in big games before. Plus, you're going to have an environment out in Oregon that is second to none as far as excitement. Really, this Ohio State team, the combination, hasn't seen that yet. And from what I've been told, and the rumors to go around of, there's something about playing at Oregon that's very challenging. It's loud, it's hostile, but I always felt that in those kind of environments, I mean, that's when our team would come together more and play even better. So this should be a fun game to watch, for sure.
Yeah, it's almost half the shoe, right? 54,000, they'll pack it in, maybe 60,000 standing room only. Give me a little take on the linebackers right now. Ohio State's defense, number one nationally against the run. Sonny Styles, Cody Simon. Certainly you're going to rely on them tonight, but is there a difference for a linebacker tonight playing against an Oregon team that's up-tempo, that likes to run? The James kid is physical. Any difference specifically in facing them tonight? No, I don't think so. I think last week was unique because of the tight ends, formations, and kind of plays they wanted to run Iowa. We talked about last week how that would be a challenge for them, and they stood up to the test, and I think they played fantastic. They gave up 19 yards rushing to a fantastic tailback last week on the first half. But this week will be, having be up-tempo, have it be faster. You're going to be able to probably dial back your defensive playbook, keep it simple, and just keep those guys being aggressive. Does your mindset go to, mine does, and maybe it's wrong to do this, but it always, when Ohio State plays Oregon, it's always like force versus finesse. Like, I always feel that, but maybe I'm underestimating what Oregon has become defensively, but how does Ohio State combat that tonight? Do they try to fight fire with fire? They have a great running game, Ohio State, right? I mean, they don't have to put the game in the hands of Will Howard, at least right away. But how do you anticipate Chip Kelly calling this game early? Aggressive, conservative, just right in their bread and butter? Well, I think the comparison you started out with really goes back to the old days of Pac-12, where no one really played defense, and it was high scoring, and it was a lot of finesse stuff, fast pace. And that goes back to the era when Chip Kelly was the head coach. Now I think you have such a mix of styles within the Big Ten and really around the country that you really can't be a finesse team or a power team. You have to be it all. And really it comes down to figuring out whatever players you're going to have, either recruiting or through the portal,
that's going to match your style and your tempo and your whether it be aggression or whatever. So I think tonight will be a fantastic game. I think Oregon will come out, and this will be their greatest test as well, obviously. But I just feel like Ohio State has too many weapons on both sides of the line to really, have it be a formidable or have it be an issue.
Yeah, I always look at it from this way. Ohio State doesn't need their quarterback to absolutely win the game for them, but I think Oregon feels like maybe they do.
Right.
Maybe their quarterback has to be as big as his reputation says it is. A guy who's been hanging out there, toga parties and food fights and all that stuff for the last couple days is our guy Tim May, the veteran beat reporter. But, man, it's good to have you. It's going to be a great evening of football. How you feeling?
I'm feeling great, but see if you can guess what I am now. No, I'm just joking.
No, that's
dude,
good.
This is one
I
of
like that. You're in the same mindset.
Yeah, never been here. By the way, their band is practicing. This is an open-air press box. It's really unbelievable facilities here. The view, there's mountains out to the northeast of us and to the west of us, and we're here in the Willamette Valley, and it's really a cool setting, and it's a beautiful day for football. It's cool, it's clear. It's going to be cooler as the basic from the kickoff on. The temperature is going to go down, but what a great setting. And of course, we woke up all this morning with confirmation that Jordan Birch, Oregon's very talented, very large, 6'6", 295, 300-pound defensive end. He's questionable for the game. Whether he can play or not remains to be seen. But boy, Oregon they got that news on Thursday, really, but I'm sure they've been treating him ever since. You know how that goes, Andy. I mean, but there was no specification on the lower body injury he got. But that's huge news here.
Yeah, and let me ask you this. So you've been out there, you've been able to take the temperature. Are the Ducks a drastically different team than they were the first 2 weeks, or have they just kind of found themselves a little bit? I know they've made a little revamped move on their offensive line, moving a guard to center. Was that their biggest problem early in the season, was their O-line, and now it's better? Or what's the feeling out there?
Well, clearly that's what the coaches thought, right? And then things got a lot better. I think it's also the fact you've got Dylan Gabriel, who would, push come to shove, would be playing against Texas right now, but transferred, 6-year player, transferred from Oklahoma to Oregon at quarterback. Extremely talented, 5'11" dude. Some people think he may not even be that tall. I stood next to him at the Big Ten Media Days, and 5'11" might be pushing it. I think they list him at 6 foot, but the point is, though, he's really gotten into his groove, and he's like the third or fourth most prolific passer in terms of passing yards in NCAA history. And so he will really let it all hang out, so to speak, in the pass game, but he also can run. So I think there was a lot of meshing him slowly but surely into the offense, because they were barely attacking downfield the first couple of games, but last couple of games I'm talking about in the passing attack. And so I think they feel pretty good how this offense has progressed. But, as Andy even said a minute ago, they haven't played a defense as good as Ohio State's yet, that's for sure.
No doubt. Andy, the big thought maybe early in the week was, okay, here we go, going out west. Right now, early in this season, we've had teams traveling 2 time zones away in conference games. You've had 9 losses and 1 win, whether they're going west to east or east to west. Ryan Day said, we're not worried about that. We're going to play this game as it was 7:30 at night. It will be our time, be 4:30 out there. I know that some of the guys, when it's a noon game, they'll get up, maybe between 6 and 7 in the morning. If it's a night game, a little later. What is that? Do they wake up early today? How did they deal with that? Or is it the exact same thing? Like they look at it as they were playing an afternoon game. What time would they get them out of bed today?
Well, this is the odd time, because it's a 4:30 game Eastern time, or Western time, should I say, 7:30 Eastern. My guess is when they went out, they kept on their Eastern schedule.
Yep.
And they may have clocks that are set on Eastern time, and so they know that they're playing obviously at 7:30 and work backwards from there. That way, it kind of keeps them on rhythm.
They didn't have to get up extra
earlier
today?
But, I mean, for me, no. Like, I don't think you – I mean, it may feel early to Pacific Coast people, but not for us.
Yeah. I guess, Tim, my point was, if they're playing a 7:30 game here, but it's 4:30 there, what time did they get up today?
Yeah, I mean, they like Andy just said, whatever they did when was that last night game in Ohio Stadium, they would probably follow me. They're following pretty much that schedule. The only thing that was really different for them was yesterday after they landed, they went to a local, I think it was high school up in Springfield, Oregon, which is, like a couple miles from where I'm sitting right now, and had a little bit of a shakeout, run through, best Fridays in football, they call them, a little fun before they showed up actually at the hotel where we all, got those poignant questions in with Ryan Day when he got off the bus. But they looked like everybody looked pretty focused and everything when they were getting off the bus, if that means anything yesterday. But Ryan I think they do as good a job as this as any of staying on the schedule. I mean, the Michigan State game, they looked at it as just a 45-minute plane flight instead of a 15-minute bus ride to the hotel downtown in Columbus. They took a 45-minute plane ride, got off, and obviously didn't seem to bother them at all. They seemed ready to go at game time that night.
It's a marquee matchup. Ohio State at Oregon tonight. We'll be getting you ready for it. Ohio State still a 3-point favorite over the Ducks. Your kickoff forecast sponsored by Byers Auto. Come see why it's better to buy from Byers. Tim alluded to it. 75 degrees and partly sunny at kickoff tonight. Be 4:30 out there for them, and then it'll bottom out in the mid to lower 60s by the fourth quarter. When we come back, we'll talk to the man on the mic, Paul Keels. This is the Kurgis & Associates Fan Tailgate Show on The Fan.
Matty Ice is currently bathing himself in creamy jalapeno dip. And I've officially run out of ways to tease this show. Rothman and Ice.
Weekdays at noon.
The Fan.
Get out there and have some fun in a new Toyota. With more all-wheel drive choices than anyone else, anything's possible. Like the family-size Highlander with room for up to 8. Now through November 4th, you can lease a Highlander XLE all-wheel drive for $489 a month for 36 months with $32.99 due at signing. With approved credit through TFS. Tax, title, and license extra. Call 1-888-36-TOYOTA for details or go to Toyota.com. Toyota. Let's go places.
Our clients deserve for us to care, and they deserve to feel serviced. They have questions, and they deserve answers. We're counselors first because I'm not selling them anything. I'm trying to teach clients how to protect themselves. At Kurgis & Associates, we're personal injury attorneys. We've helped and continue to help hundreds and hundreds of clients every year. That's important to us. If you've been injured in an accident and it's not your fault, call now. 614-GOT-HURT. That's 614-GOT-HURT. Kurgis & Associates. Attorneys who care.
You want an easy way to feed your friends? You get a Jersey Mike's catering box. You want an exciting radio idea? You get me. Like this. There's a Jersey Mike's catering box off the coast of Corsica that needs rescuing. Me and a team of mercenaries go in, barrel rolling past the sleeping guard, and we find the catering box in a secret bunker. I say, men, let's get these 12 subs home. But they're already eating them. That's the problem with mercenaries. You can't trust them. The Jersey Mike's catering box, a sub above.
Football season is here, and so is tailgating season. Are you ready? If not, let Columbus Car Audio and Accessories help you get the latest and best accessories for your ride. Upgrade your sound system so everyone around can hear what team you're rooting for. Add mobile video and never miss a game on the road. Add style and privacy with window tint, and avoid scraping ice this winter by adding a remote starter. Choose Columbus Car Audio and Accessories when it comes to customizing your ride. Morse Road near Easton, Main Street in Reynoldsburg, or columbuscaraudio.com.
Much like a vampire, we need to be invited into your house. But once we're in, we never leave. Listen to The Fan on your Alexa or Google Home smart speaker. Just say play 97.1 The Fan and prepare to be amazed. Do it now.
Attention, small business or sole proprietors. Do you want to save money on health care for your business? Be able to cover your employees with the best dental, doctors, and hospitals? Hey, it's Bobby Carpenter for the SACA Benefit Plan. Nearly 100,000 members strong in the state of Ohio. The SACA Benefit Plan is administered by Anthem and could be right for you. Small businesses, visit 844-medohio.com. That's medohio.com. The SACA Benefit Plan could be right for you. Visit 844-medohio.com.
When the leaves fall, so do the prices at Valley. Drive into autumn in a 2024 Ford Bronco at up to $9,500 off MSRP. Lease a new Escape Active, just $289 a month for 36 months for a limited time. Drive away a new Ford Edge SE and save up to $7,500 off MSRP. For these deals and more, get to Valley Ford of Columbus, the official dealership of wide receiver Carnell Tate.
Keep on trucking with Valley Ford of Columbus.
Hey fans, it's Bobby Carpenter here for QC Kinetics, the nation's leader in regenerative medicine that helps restore aching joints. So if you're tired of arthritic pain in your knees, hips, back, or shoulders, it's time to finally get relief, improve your mobility, and get back to doing the things you love with QC Kinetics. No pain, no meds, no surgery, no downtime. Call QC Kinetics today for a free consultation with my friend Dr. Ray Tesner. They have locations in Dublin or Gahanna. Call 380-208-4544 or go to qckinetics.com/Columbus.
No. First down! Oh, what? Just cleared that drain last week.
Well, clearly that didn't work. Would you please just call the waterworks?
At the Waterworks, we mean clean. We'll get your drains good as new on the first down. And as for him, well, there's always the Buckeyes. The Waterworks. Better care, better value, better results.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
What a difference hours make as it warms up nicely for us in the afternoon. Temperatures will be in the upper 70s to low 80s, and we'll see that sunshine continue throughout most of the day with clouds increasing going into tonight. Partly cloudy skies overnight with lows dropping right around 60. And for Sunday, we have isolated rain chances in the forecast. Otherwise, expect a mix of sun and clouds and still mild with our daytime highs right around 80. But we will have breezy winds in the forecast. For The Fan, I'm meteorologist Meredith Garfalo.
It's game day on the Fan.
Sponsored by Reichert Ford.
Have fun. Keep your pads on. Go Bucks. Always and forever your home of the Buckeyes. The Fan. This is the Curtis and Associates Fan Tailgate Show.
Curtis and Associates, attorneys who care. Call 614-GOT-HURT. That's 614-GOT-HURT.
If you're listening to the Buckeyes, you're listening to us. Your home for Ohio State athletics. The Fan. It's time for the Big Daddy Report with the voice of the Buckeyes, Paul Keels.
Sponsored by the Waterworks. The Waterworks Plumbing and Drain Team can break through any block. We're standing by to take your call at 614-232-2222. A proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
All right, his pipes are all warmed up. He'll do a nice walkthrough with us. The man on the mic, voice of the Buckeyes, Paul Keels, out at Autzen Stadium. I'm sure it's a beautiful sight, Paul. Good to have you.
Thank you. It certainly is. The weather is fantastic. The scenery is as you would imagine, so it's kind of a nice maiden voyage out here to Eugene, Oregon.
You've talked to the coach earlier this week. You get to talk to him every week. Did you sense that this is bigger? Did it feel more intense to him? Both coaches certainly want to win, quote, the big one. I know I've talked to Andy earlier in the program, Paul, about how, yes, the team that loses this game knows they're not eliminated, but how did you decipher Ryan Day this week taking his team out west?
You know, I think he's been very consistent about a lot of things, Anthony, and, you know, they wanted to treat this as a regular road game, leaving on Friday, coming back right afterwards. You know, one of the things he's been so good about is not making one game any bigger than the other or not looking forward or looking past somebody, and I think that's what was great about having the Iowa game positioned where it is. He's been using the term the challenges get bigger. He's been saying that all season long, and so this certainly is one of those. But there's been a focus that we've seen them have all season long, and even just kind of rubbing elbows and going by some of the staff people today, you could still tell in the hotel here that, you know, they're focused on what it is they have to do in this game, but don't know that it was any different than their first road game against Michigan State, or if it was really that much more different than it was against Iowa last week.
So this is your first time out in Oregon, correct?
In Eugene. We've been to Portland a few times for basketball, but first time to Eugene, Andy.
Nice. So what's your thoughts or feels about the stadium there, facilities, environment, all that good stuff?
You know, it is beautiful. They've done a very good job with the stadium that, you know, I think everybody read the stories. The last time Ohio State played here was the second game Oregon had in this stadium in 1967. The athletic facilities that you can see all around, from the soccer field to the baseball field, tennis right over to the left here, and, you know, just some of the natural settings you have with the mountains off in the distance and the fall colors starting to take form. So it's very impressive. We were taken out to dinner by one of the local radio folks here last night, drove a little bit through some of the campus area. You can see some of the campus activity going on with students all over the place. So it's kind of what you would expect, but the weather today is just absolutely fantastic, so that adds to the whole deal.
Awesome.
Yeah, Paul, did y'all have to swing by where Delta Chi Fraternity House used to be, except it's not there anymore? You're telling what I'm saying, Animal House.
No, did not have the opportunity to do that. I did see in one of the local papers that there is an establishment called the Animal House here. Would love to have had the time to do that, but when your time is not really your own, when you make these trips, you don't get a chance to do stuff like that.
Yeah, of course, that's not my real questions. I always say to Ryan Day, past the fact that this setting is ridiculous. I'm sitting in the press box a little ways from you, but the magnitude of this game, how do you put it in perspective knowing that, both of these teams will have possibly a second shot at each other, in December, and maybe even a third shot at each other, in late December or January? I mean, does it feel any different from you from the magnitude of 2 versus 3 and what it used to mean back in the BCS era?
I think that's the different element to it, Tim, that this might not be the only time these two teams would see one another. You think back to the matchups with Texas. You could even think back the last few years with the games against Notre Dame. It was not likely that you were going to see the other team. A loss was going to be more damaging than it is right now. So that's kind of the different thing. The fact that it's coming all the way across the country, that adds a new twist to it also. And, I don't know if you can discount the fact that the last time these two teams played, Ohio State suffered a loss at home. That's part of the ingredient as well. So, but there is a different feeling because of the potential of a rematch in Indianapolis. Now, schools like Indiana might have something to say about that, and Penn State, but that is kind of the whole different twist that involves these two teams playing one another.
Voice of the Buckeyes, Paul Keels, with us, setting the scene out there in Eugene, Oregon for the Bucks and Ducks. Will Howard's number was called, maybe instinctually, also by design, 10 times last week. Are you anticipating a big dose of that tonight?
I think we could see some of that, and a lot of it's just going to depend on the flow of the game, Anthony. He's shown that. What we've not seen is him break off a nice long run. That we've heard tell about those happening in practice, and certainly with what he did at Kansas State. Conversely, they've got to be concerned about the same thing from Dylan Gabriel. He broke off, I think it was a 50-40-yarder in their game against, I think it was Oregon State. So that's something that both these quarterbacks bring to the table. But as far as what Ohio State may do, that certainly has to be part of it. But, the flow of the game is going to have a lot to do with that, what the defense shows them. Certainly there's a lot of question about Jordan Birch, the defensive end for Oregon. They apparently suffered some sort of an injury Thursday in practice. His status seems to be shaky. If he's not there, and especially as an edge rusher, that maybe increases the possibility in certain situations that you might see Will Howard break loose on one.
Last week they did such a good job against Iowa's run game, but they were clearly, that's their identity, a little bit one-dimensional. Tonight it's a different beast, isn't it, Paul? Because you have to respect Dylan Gabriel. You had Jordan James, who got it 26 times against Sparty. You got to think that they're going to want to do that again tonight if they can.
Yeah, and, the other interesting comparison could be Oregon's offensive line. They had to do some reshuffling earlier this season. They moved their center, Ipani Lalulo, from guard to center. Charlie Pickard, who was a player that started the season at center, wasn't getting the job done. So has that taken hold, or does it show possibly a liability on their offensive line? But, Iowa's offensive line, who a lot of people had a lot of respect for, Ohio State did a very, very good job of causing disruption, but also limiting a very good running back in Caleb Johnson from tearing off long plays and having a good game like he apparently had today against Washington. So this is a defense that certainly has been disruptive, and maybe the thing that's exciting about them is they've been disruptive from all points, not only just the tackles, and Tyleik Williams being back certainly had a lot to do with that, but the way the defensive ends have played, the linebackers coming off of probably their best game, and we know what the secondary has done. So, that's good. There's a lot of interesting matchups to watch in this game, but how this defense is able to contain an explosive Oregon offense will be one of the most exciting ones to watch for.
Yeah, Paul, real quick, do you have a gut feel of somebody on Ohio State who could not emerge but play a huge role in this game, maybe better than others tonight to make a difference?
This is one of those where you wonder, because of all of the attention focused on Jeremiah Smith, as well as Emeka Ibuka coming off a career game, can tight ends play a big part in this? Also, if Carnell Tate, as we understand, he's good and ready to go. Brandon Innes and Bryson Rogers contributed last week. Does that allow for, the tight ends to maybe do something? We really haven't seen the running backs catch the ball and make big plays like we know Travion Henderson can do, as he's done in the past. Is that something that helps them create an advantage, catching balls out of the backfield? So from an offensive standpoint, that's probably it. Defensively, this is one, we all keep waiting for Jalen Tuimoloau to have one of those games like he had 2 years ago at Penn State. Could this be one of those days? He's playing close to his home area, being from the state of Washington. I'm certain that there's going to be family and friends here for not only he, but also people like Emeka Ibuka and G. Scott. But is this one of those games where we see Jalen Tuimoloau play, if not at, but close to the level that he did in that infamous game at Penn State 2 years ago?
He's our man, Paul Keels, voice of the Buckeyes, and nothing is over until he decides it is. That will be tonight in Eugene. Looking forward to your call, Paul. Thank you.
All right, guys. Thank you very much.
All right. Sponsored by the Waterworks Plumbing, Drain, Heating, and Cooling. That is the Paul Keels segment, a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. When we come back, who will shine out there in Eugene? We'll talk about it and pick our money man next. Game day coverage sponsored by Reichert Ford on the Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Bobby Carpenter doesn't have a mullet, but he's knee-deep in mullet energy. Morning Juice with Bobby and Beamer.
Weekdays starting at 6.
The Fan.
Bobcat Enterprises is your family-owned partner for landscaping and construction projects. Bobcat Enterprises sells and services a full line of Bobcat equipment, including compact track loaders, excavators, tractors, and more. Plus, Bobcat rents compact equipment and attachments. With Bobcat, you can rent the machine and own the results. Keep your business local. Stop by Bobcat Enterprises in Hilliard, Reynoldsburg, or Zanesville, and find current specials and our full line of products by visiting bobcatent.com today.
Hey Columbus, Caden Curry here, Ohio State student-athlete for Green & Sons, the premier Kubota dealership in Central Ohio. When it comes to hard work, whether on the field or the farm, I need something that's as tough and reliable as I am. That's why I trust Kubota diesel tractors from Green & Sons. Kubota's diesel tractor motors are high-powered, reliable, and don't stop running, just how I like to play. So when you're serious about getting the job done, you need the Kubota equipment you can trust from Green & Sons. Check them out at greenandsons.com or stop by one of their stores in Mount Sterling and in Raymond, north of Marysville.
Hello, I am a serious announcer hired to deliver a serious announcement. Get an Apex Pros winter tune-up for your furnace right now for only $29. Notice we are simply giving you the facts. Just $29 to make sure your furnace is ready for the upcoming Ohio winter. We know how you enjoy our usual fun and funny commercials. Hello? Beg pardon? Well, I see no reason to bring my mother into this. Good day to you, sir. Where was I? Oh, yes. A $29 tune-up will make sure your furnace runs safely and warmly all winter. That's serious. I'm serious. That's why we're not doing the usual that you've come to expect from Apex Pros. None of this or this nonsense. $29 for a furnace tune-up from Apex Pros. The pros who knows? Knows? Is that really how you say it? The pros who...
Apex Pros, the official plumber of the Columbus Blue Jackets. ApexPros.com.
Guess what? Our ugly faces are on YouTube. Search 971 The Fan and watch all your favorite shows. Laptop, phone, tablet, smart TV, we're everywhere. Bring us in the bedroom with you. Yes, The Fan.
Hi, I'm Laura De Leon, president of Key Bank in Central Ohio. Here at Key, we believe in providing a helping hand in our community. While helping hands are wonderful, a helping bank is even better. That's a bank committed to solving people's financial needs, but it doesn't stop there. We advocate, we support, we listen, and we volunteer. That's a bank that is always ready to meet you in the moment. Key Bank opens doors.
Key Bank, member FDIC.
At Byers Auto, we've been football fans since 1897, back when tailgates had actual tails. Our legacy of supporting our local team is as strong as our commitment to providing exceptional vehicles. While we're known for our new cars, we also offer a variety of pre-owned vehicles that meet our rigorous standards. Our friendly staff is here to help you find the perfect vehicle for your lifestyle and budget. Visit us in person or shop online at byersauto.com. Come see why it's better to buy at Byers.
30% of D1 athletes report betting-related threats and harassment after games. This threatens the safety and mental health of students like Jade.
I'm a college athlete, and I'm more than a bet. When you threaten my life and my family because you lost money, it really scares me.
These threats are not acceptable. Stop harassing college athletes over a bet. Learn more at morethanabet.org.
Military veterans and active duty service members, you could become a certified cyber warrior with just 12 weeks of training at My Computer Career. Cybersecurity specialists are in high demand, and IT pros with these skills often enjoy abundant opportunity and a great lifestyle. Protect our people, liberty, and treasured institutions from cyber threats. GI Bill, SkillBridge, and other VA benefits are available to those who qualify. Learn more at mycomputercareer.edu/CWP. That's mycomputercareer.edu/CWP.
This is the Fans Game Day Scoreboard.
Brought to you by Valley Ford of Columbus.
Good afternoon. I'm Buddy Wells. A rundown of all the college football games in progress as we have several top 25 teams in action right now in the Red River rivalry. Number 18, Oklahoma leads number 1, Texas, 3-0. Number 4, Penn State is at USC. The Trojans lead that game 14-3. In South Bend, number 11, Notre Dame just took a 14-7 lead over Stanford. Cal is at number 22, Pittsburgh. The Panthers lead that game 14-6. And Purdue is on the road against number 23, Illinois. The Fighting Illini lead that game 10-0. All of those games are in the second quarter. And in baseball, the Cleveland Guardians are heading to the American League Championship Series. The Guards just finished off the Tigers 7-3 just a short bit ago. Game 1 of the ALCS will be in New York against the Yankees on Monday night. This one is brought to you by Valley Ford of Columbus. From F-150 to F-750, Valley Ford of Columbus is Ohio's commercial truck headquarters. Breaking sports news when it happens right here on The Fan.
Hello, I like football. I have nothing clever to say. This is the Curtis and Associates Fan Tailgate Show.
Curtis and Associates, attorneys who care. Call 614-GOT-HEARD. That's 614-GOT-HEARD.
Your home of the Buckeyes, The Fan, Ohio's sports destination. He's so money.
Sponsored by Kemba Financial Credit Union.
All right, back at Hollywood Casino Columbus, Anthony Rothman of the Big Cat, Andy Katzenmoyer, Tim May out in Eugene. Come on out, watch the game here with us tonight. They'll have the buffet set up. They'll have the VIP buffet as well if you want to level up to that. All the kiosks are ready to spit out some winning bets for you, so it's going to be an outstanding place to watch this game. The Oregon Ducks, the opponent tonight. If you didn't watch them early, they had some very close calls against Idaho and Boise State. In fact, they escaped both of those. Ashton Genty, the kid from Boise State, ran for 192 yards on them, Big Cat. That is pretty outstanding when it trends towards Ohio State's tandem of Travion Henderson and Quinshon Judkins. They just ran right over Iowa and through them, and that was the big calling card for Iowa, was that defense. 203 yards rushing. So if you got the nation's best running back tandem, you better use them tonight.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, Iowa, the thing about Iowa, though, is they're very predictable as far as the front they'll be in, and as the game wore on, and based on personnel and formation, they became even more predictable, so then Chip Kelly could also then just simply already know how the play is going to go before he actually called the play, or the play actually happened. Does that make sense?
Yeah, he didn't need a guy on the sideline deciphering signals for him.
Correct.
He knew exactly.
Makes sense to me.
Yeah, Tim, when you discuss these big games with coaches and players, you know, Chip Kelly, take us into his mind a little bit on aggressive versus conservative, or maybe those are even words he doesn't even think about. But to start the game, when it's not situational, what does he want to do tonight? It would seem obvious that if you have Quinshon and Travion Henderson, that you do want to run the football. Is that the priority tonight early for him?
I think it's always got to be your priority from the standpoint you want to establish something at the line of scrimmage that makes the other team have to, scratch its head and wonder, even if it's for a split second. Number two, the last couple of games, they've done a good job of having an extended drive to start the game in their first possession. Ohio State has, and that would be ideal in a setting like this. No matter when you get it, whether you get the opening kickoff or the other team does. But the thing about Chip Kelly is, when you say run the ball and then when you say pass the ball, it's not just as simple as that, especially him with the run game. I thought Ohio State's run game the last several years had dissolved into something fairly predictable about where they were going and when they were going there. And Chip Kelly, just with just little nuances, man, mixes and matches. And we talked about this last week. What you really like is the way he gets the offensive lineman out on the edge a lot. I mean, with those pull plays, and then running counters, back across it. Travion and Quinshon Judkins are not afraid to run that play, but especially Quinshon. You saw him last week, kind of kind of joked with Chip Kelly. He had like a 12 or 19-yard gain on a play where he was actually hit in the hole by the linebacker, but from the side, and Quinshon ran right through it. So, Big Cat, that's a successful running play, right? Even though really the guy was there. And I wrote about that in the middle of the week this week, about how these two guys sharing the load has really made a difference in keeping both of them fresh. And even Travion's running, in my opinion, more violently. But I'm not sure any back in the country is running with a more violent approach than Quinshon Judkins at the moment.
Yeah, listen, the second half of that game last week, it got downhill fast. I mean, I know they ran for 110 against Iowa in the first half, but they were only up 7-0. That opening drive of the second half keyed the whole game for me, because once you put Iowa in a 14-0 hole, their offense, it's just not built to come back from that. And then Sawyer hits Cade, and he fumbles, and defense turns to offenses, which, Andy, is what they want this team to be. What I liked is certainly they hit Jeremiah Smith for that 50-plus yarder early in the second half, but Igbinosun was winning physical battles on the outside. Sawyer was getting after it. Ty Hamilton hit Cade before he could throw it, and he fumbled. And all of a sudden, this is exactly what was, it's 35-0 before you blink an eye. So This is what this team wants to be, is defense turning into offense, and that's exactly what we saw last week in the second half.
I would argue, though, even though the score was 7-0 at halftime, I never thought Ohio State was out of control of that game in the first half. I didn't think Iowa showed any kind of dominance. No. The only way that Iowa could have stayed in that game is if Ohio State had unfortunate turnovers, and Iowa was able to capitalize on that. But Ohio State is just too dynamic in both their two running backs and then across, in their receiving core.
Are you sensing?
By the way, go
ahead, Tim.
Can I ask you, are you supposed to stand when they're practicing the Star Spangled Banner? I've got that question right now.
I think that's a personal thing.
Dude, this band, every time we go to a break, they quit playing, and then we come back. Here we are. But, go ahead.
Let me ask you this: are they playing it from beginning to end, or are they just?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, then I would stand.
Yeah.
Yes, I think that's.
Well, I know,
plus, you want to get the blood flowing, get ready. That's quite
exactly.
all right.
But I agree with what Andy just said. The two turnovers just for the half, the Jeremiah Smith fumble, and then of course the interception that Will Howard threw, headed for Emeka Egbuka. That really kind of slowed down the momentum there in that first half for Ohio State, and clearly coming out with a head of steam in the second half was huge.
Yeah, listen, there were only a couple plays that that could have changed that in the first half. The 4th and 2, where Howard the draw play doesn't get it, and then Iowa calls the fake punt, but to timeout first, so that changed things for them. I thought it was.
Oops.
That's the one, man. You love it. And then the guy shanked the punt after that, so that insult to injury. Right. But you're exactly right, Andy. They absolutely dominated that game, and they were only up 7-0. So did the coaches have to kind of? You probably, as a player, you're like, hey, we're dominating them. It only says 7-0. But, on the flip side, you're like, this is exactly what Iowa wants, is that you're dominating the game, but it doesn't show it up on the scoreboard. Took some great defensive plays to change that in a hurry. Are you sensing that tonight's game is offensively driven, or do you think it will be a defensive game?
Well, both these teams are both top 10 in total defense. So if you look at the stats, it goes simply – this will be a defensive game. At the same time, Ohio State is a juggernaut offensively, where Oregon in years past has been the same way, but they're a little bit lax this year. They're a little bit slower. They're not as dynamic as we are, and especially big plays. So I see it being probably a high-scoring affair, but I would also anticipate lots of great defense.
Dylan Gabriel has been sacked, or was sacked 7 times in the first 2 games. No sacks the last 3 games. I know that can be opponent-driven and play-calling driven, but right now they have changed a little bit of what they're doing. Tim, actually, the mistakes that he's making are critical ones. They were in the red zone last week. Those are killers. But if you get some of those.
Yeah. That's part and parcel to what Andy's talking about. As long as you don't make the big mistake or make more than one, let's put it that way. It's in modern college football, everybody's trying to knock the ball out, so to speak, and they can confuse you with a coverage one time or another. But I think Will Howard right now at least going into this game, based on what we've seen, has been more steady, let's put it that way, and making really good decisions. Just a couple of bad throws, and we might really be gushing about him. But Dillon Gabriel is this may be the game he hits his stride. But he's going against, like I said earlier, the best defense he's faced by far this year. So, it's you want to think this will be a high-scoring game, because in this kind of game, good offenses to make it a punching match, and so how Ohio State can stay with that and or absorb some of those in terms of Dillon Gabriel and Oregon, that'll be what you're watching. I'm watching the offensive and defensive line, man. Best combo that Ohio State's gone against this year, although Iowa was pretty good, but this is by far both teams' best opponent. So I think it's not a toss-up, but pretty close.
Yeah, we'll find out if Oregon is missing one of their big pieces on their defensive line soon enough. When we come back, we will talk to Jim Lachey and get his feel about the offensive line and how good they've been. It was a question mark before the year. It's not anymore, but this is their big test. He's So Money, sponsored by Kemba Financial Credit Union. And we'll go back out to Eugene and hook it up with Lachey. This is the Kurgis & Associates Fan Tailgate Show. Remember, they don't get paid unless you get paid, right here on The Fan.
Three dudes who'll make you feel like the smartest guy in the room.
Yeah, we hornswoggled you good.
Bishop and Friends.
Weekdays from 9 to noon.
The Fan.
Get out there and have some fun in a new Toyota truck. Now through November 4th, get 1.9 APR financing or $2,000 customer cash on a new 24 Tundra. Excludes TRD Pro. Or lease a Tacoma SR Double Cab for $319 a month for 36 months with $32.99 due at signing. With approved credit through TFS. Tax, title, and license extra. Call 1-888-36-TOYOTA for details or go to Toyota.com. Nobody builds better trucks than Toyota. Let's go places.
Integrity, honesty, and quality. Words we live by here at Monogram Homes. Hi, this is Dina. And at Monogram Homes, we strive to bring your wants to your man cave, your needs to your kitchen, and your ideas to life. Most home builders claim to be custom, but starting with stock floor plans and templates isn't our idea of a tailored experience. At Monogram Homes, we start with a blank slate and work with you until you get exactly what you want. So start your true custom home journey today with a builder you can trust. Monogram Homes. Visit us online at monogramhomes.net.
Hey, it's Anthony here, and over the years, I've tried to stay in the fight, keep playing, but every now and then, something gets me. Shoulder pain, a knee tweak, a recent bout of golfer's elbow. When the weekend warrior injuries happen, the first call I make is to the specialists at Orthopedic One. I don't mess around. I want the #1 ranked place for orthopedics in Ohio. They've earned the right to be called Central Ohio's most trusted team of orthopedic experts. Get started at orthopedic1.com. No referral needed, but if you want one, I got you.
We're dealing at Reichert Ford. That means we got the car you need at the price you want. But don't take it from me. Hear it from
Ohio State captain Travion Henderson.
Reichert has what I'm looking for.
Jack Sawyer.
Grew up watching these guys on TV. My family's bought tons of cars for them.
Cody Simon.
You get the right car at Reichert. With our lowest prices and 72-hour exchange policy, you can't buy the wrong car.
$2,500 low price guarantee.
Thousands of vehicles are waiting. ReichertFord.com.
Get the right car at Reichert.
We're dealing.
There's nothing like having Common Man and T-Bone resting on your bosom.
Oh, for someone with no breasts, you've done very well for yourself.
Gross. Pick up the latest T-shirt in the Fan store or pick up merch from a show you actually like. We even have Ohio State and jacket stuff. Head to 971thefan.com.
Our clients deserve for us to care, and they deserve to feel serviced. They have questions, and they deserve answers. We're counselors first because I'm not selling them anything. I'm trying to teach clients how to protect themselves. At Kurgis & Associates, we're personal injury attorneys. We've helped and continue to help hundreds and hundreds of clients every year. That's important to us. If you've been injured in an accident and it's not your fault, call now. 614-GOT-HURT. That's 614-GOT-HURT. Kurgis & Associates. Attorneys who care.
Get Eco.
ECO. Hey, Jerry, I think I invented something. Does it solve a problem? It solves a big problem.
Get Eco.
ECO. Heating and cooling companies are telling people your furnace and AC isn't worth fixing. You need to replace it with a whole new system.
You invented a solution for that?
I invented a way to fix those systems for free.
Get Eco.
ECO.
That's a great invention. How does it work?
Step 1 is to pay Eco to fix it.
I thought you said you'd fix it for free.
Step 2 is that we give you back all the money that you paid us, up to $1,500 when you get Eco to replace it.
Get Eco.
ECO.
What if your repair keeps my system running for several more years?
That would mean you got all those extra years for free.
Paying Eco to fix your furnace is like putting money in the bank.
Get an Eco.
ECO.
Get an Eco.
ECO.
Get an Eco.
ECO.
Eco plumbers, electricians, and HVAC technicians.
Get Eco.com.
Looking for your next Subaru? At Byers Airport Subaru, we give you options from start to finish. Browse and shop entirely online from the comfort of your home at columbussubaru.com or stop by and visit one of our friendly brand specialists just by the airport.
Right now, you can get the all-new 2025 Subaru Forester for 3.9% for up to 48 months.
Whether you prefer to click or come in, we've got you covered. Your journey starts at Byers Airport Subaru. Come see why it's better to buy at Byers.
Subject to credit approval. Financing offer term up to 48 months on 2025 Subaru Forester. Cannot be combined with any other incentive. See dealer for details. Offer ends 10/31/24.
Enjoy all the football this weekend, but remember to join us for Reaction Monday.
Sponsored by the Roofing Guys.
The Fan. Rothman wakes up every morning next to a bottle of gin and says, today's a good day for a Buckeye victory. Well, today he happens to be right. You're listening to the Kurgis & Associates Fan Tailgate Show.
Kurgis & Associates, attorneys who care. Call 614-GOT-HURT. That's 614-GOT-HURT.
Your home of the Buckeyes, The Fan. It's time to check in with Buckeye color analyst and president of the Large Hand Society, Jim Lachey.
Sponsored by Schmitz. Why tailgate when you can Schmidtgate?
All right, he's our guy. He's Jim Lachey, the former All-American Super Bowl champ out in Eugene, that beautiful setting out there. And he's with his guy, Paul Keels. They'll be on the call. Jim, thanks for making time, as always.
It is a beautiful setting. Makes it great to be with you guys. It's obviously our first time out here, and it's a cool stadium. It's a cool city. We had a good time last night with a great dinner, and now we're here. We're here for the stadium. We're here for the game, and we're going to kick off here shortly.
Absolutely. Let me get your take on this offensive line from before the season to now. Man, I'll tell you, every time we talked about it, there was always that kind of thing hanging over the team. How will they develop? How will they be? This team is only as good as far as the offensive line can take them. And looky here, they've only allowed 4 sacks on the season. They've done a great job with run blocking, but let's get some expert eyes on it. What have you seen from the evolution of this line in the first 5?
Yeah, each and every game they're getting better. Donovan Jackson obviously missed the first couple of games, so, Austin Saravel was able to fill in and get some playing time. And then, Tegra got him and Tegra have been going in and out there a little bit at that right guard, so they got some depth there on that line. And, I think adding Seth McLaughlin, obviously, having a guy that came from the SEC, started at Alabama, super smart guy and a great communicator, and just gives them kind of a sense of confidence, when they go out there and play. They can make adjustments. He understands things. And, Josh Simmons is playing at a high level right now. So is Josh Fryer, and we're going to need that. If you go back to the 2021 game, and I know there's not too many familiar guys, faces that are still in that game, but, they outrushed us. They ran for 269 yards in that game, and, they were able to dominate the line of scrimmage. And that's kind of the case almost every game, but most importantly tonight, against the Ducks. You got to be able to dominate on that line of scrimmage, and it's going to come down to our offensive line, being able to run the ball. I'm excited to see what Quinshon Junkins, can do. Travion Henderson, obviously, throughout his career has been great. And then last week, Will Howard was able to step up with 10 runs. I think that's going to be important, especially in that red zone.
So last week we talked a lot about, your professionalism about having your son come and play in a game. Can you talk about how cool or just how you felt to actually do that?
It was nice. I mean, thanks, Andy, for asking, but it was a neat experience. Obviously there was a lot more interviews. We had cameras up in the booth for a couple games trying to, get some shots, get some photos. So that was a little bit unnerving having a camera on you all the time, the whole game. And, you just got to the point where it's 7-0. You'll think, okay, this is going to be, a 4-quarter ball game. But Ohio State was able to blow that up in the third quarter with the turnovers on defense and then the quick scores offensively. After that, you look up, it's 28-0 before you know it. But it was fun. And, obviously happy that Luke was able to catch a few passes in that game. And when it got to that point where it's, 35-0, you're just like, okay, everybody get out of here healthy, both sides. You don't want to see anybody get hurt. And, I was happy for him that he had that experience, was able to make some plays here, see some family. My dad's 91, and he didn't doesn't come back and go to too many games at Ohio Stadium, but that was an opportunity for him to come see his grandson play, so that was pretty cool to get some photos afterwards. And, then today they got a chance to go back against Washington and, take care of business, kind of blow that thing open. So I'm happy that it's over, because when your son's on one team and you're calling for the other team, you kind of want both teams to do well. And it's kind of hard to do a game that way because, usually you're not as neutral. At least I haven't been over the last 28 years. I'm rooting for the Buckeyes. I want them to do well. But, that was kind of just a little bit different feeling about that. But, happy again, not with the result. I am for the Buckeyes, but, for him, it was a tough one. And, he was down in the dumps a little bit afterwards. But, again, I thought he did a pretty good job. He used to clean up some blocks. But, he was able to catch some passes, 5 targets, 5 passes in that game. And, kind of move on.
Yeah.
I was going to say, Jim, what a bounce back today for sure. And, any father who has kids, whether they play T-ball or grandsons, whether they're playing T-ball or flag ball or playing for the Iowa Hawkeyes in the Big Ten, it's a big deal. And, and I felt good for you, at least that he had a decent game. He had a pretty good game today, too, I think. But, hey, let's go back to one thing. Exactly. And they squashed a team that played for the national championship last year, but I digress. Yeah. Dude, you made a lot of west to east or east to west and west to east trips as a National Football League player of quite aplomb. Ought to be in the Hall of Fame, but that's a podcast for another day.
We'll get on that.
What's your take on what this? Yeah, what's your take on the impact of that on this team? You flew with them yesterday. How'd you feel about the way they kept their focus, but also the little shake through they went through? You know what I mean, at the little high school or wherever, and just what's your take on how much that will impact them today? I guess.
I think it's been talked about a lot, but as a player, I never really thought about it. When you're in San Diego, you're going to have to go east to play a lot of games because you're on the ocean. So that's just part of it. And Don Coryell kind of his thought was that if you play east of the Mississippi, we'd go out on a Friday, and that was just kind of part of it. We understood that we'd go out on a Friday, get it in early evening. Have some meetings, have a little bit more of extended walkthrough on Saturday morning, and then, get up Sunday, play the game, turn around and fly back and gain those 3 hours back. For Ohio State, kind of look at it this way. You're sitting in a plane maybe 2 hours longer than you normally would, so instead of a 2-hour flight to Lincoln, Nebraska, you got a 4-hour flight, 4.5 maybe to Eugene. And once the game's over, it doesn't matter. How long it takes to get home because you got a bye week and you got plenty of time to rest. So I think these guys, had it right. They kept, like everybody did. We pretty much stayed on the East Coast time. Didn't really change our clocks. I know I went to bed early last night. These guys went to bed early. I could tell that they were fired up today. But, now you look at Washington coming to Oregon and you see, that is now 1-10 or 1-11 as far as teams having traveled 2 time zones. But I don't think he worked.
Yeah, Indiana with the win.
Yeah, I think you got to look at the teams that are on the field, and obviously Ohio State has a pretty good football team. It didn't affect Oregon in 2021 when they came all the way back 2 time zones and beat Ohio State, in Ohio Stadium. So I think
they kicked off at 9 a.m. their time.
Exactly. So you just look at it and every case is a little bit different. But if you got a good football team, it doesn't matter where you go. And the mentality is we'll play in a parking lot if need be. It doesn't, so you don't worry about, where you have to play or where you have to drive or where you have to travel. That's just part of getting that next W. And, if it is a little bit bigger challenge, and, so be it, you go for it. But, I anticipate it won't give them a problem because they're going to be ready. They played in plenty of night games throughout, the last 28 years I've been covering it. There's a lot of night games that are out there. And, I think sometimes sitting around until 7:30 and Happy Valley is even worse than, doing all that because it's just part of it. But, Oregon's got a good football team. As I talked to the guys a little bit earlier, stopping the run is going to be key. Get these guys backed up a little bit. Put the pressure on Dylan Gabriel to go out there and make some plays. And he certainly has the capacity to make a few plays because he's done that throughout his whole career. But you got to stress him a little bit. You got to take one thing away. And if they can take away James running the football, then, they get an opportunity to make some, to get him in that position.
Well done, my man. Jim Lachey, former All-American, Buckeye great. Have a nice call tonight. We'll look forward to it.
All right. Thanks, guys. Talk to you soon.
Jim Lachey's segment sponsored by Schmidt's Sausage House. Why tailgate when you can Schmidt-gate? When we come back at Hollywood Casino Columbus, Ohio State has been in the zone lately. We'll give you those details when we come back on the Kurgis and Associates Fan Tailgate Show right here on The Fan.
Here's a listener tweet. Can I tase Common Man in the nuts? Fine by us, but he may like it. Common Man and Tebow.
Weekdays from 3 to 6.
The Fan.
Looking for your next Subaru? At Byers Airport Subaru, we give you options from start to finish. Browse and shop entirely online from the comfort of your home at ColumbusSubaru.com or stop by and visit one of our friendly brand specialists just by the airport.
Right now, you can get the all-new 2025 Subaru Forester for 3.9% for up to 48 months.
Whether you prefer to click or come in, we've got you covered. Your journey starts at Byers Airport Subaru. Come see why it's better to buy at Byers.
Subject to credit approval. Financing offer term up to 48 months on 2025 Subaru Forester. Cannot be combined with any other incentive. See dealer for details. Offer ends 10/31/24.
Get out there and have some fun in a new Toyota with more all-wheel drive choices than anyone else. Like America's best-selling car, Toyota Camry. It's all hybrid all the time with available all-wheel drive. Now through November 4th, you can lease a Camry LE for $299 a month for 36 months with $32.99 due at signing. With approved credit through TFS. Tax, title, and license extra. Call 1-888-36-TOYOTA for details or go to Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
First down!
Oh, what? Just cleared that drain last week.
Well, clearly that didn't work. Would you please just call the waterworks?
At the Waterworks, we mean clean. We'll get your drains good as new on the first down. And as for him, well, there's always the Buckeyes. The Waterworks. Better care, better value, better results.
There isn't a day that goes by that I don't appreciate what Awaken 180 has done for me. Scotty Vegas here, and since I started Awaken 180 in January, I lost and have kept off over 40 pounds. I hadn't been under 200 pounds since high school. Now I've been under 200 pounds for 5 straight months. My coach Patrick and I were laughing this week as I was telling him now in my tennis matches, instead of trying to play quick points, I have the energy to play long points and wait for my opponent to tire out. My metabolism is working the way it should now that I'm at my ideal weight. After you reach your ideal weight, Awaken 180 provides the free support for life. If you are ready to make the change and only do it once, do it. Call the long-term solution for weight loss. Awaken 180 Weight Loss. 844-346-1800. That's 844-346-1800 or online at awaken180weightloss.com.
Hey Columbus, Caden Curry here, Ohio State student athlete for Green & Sons, the premier Kubota dealership in Central Ohio. I've had to be versatile my whole football career. Of course, I'm a defensive end, but I've also played special teams and even played fullback. Whether I'm blocking or tackling, I've got to be ready for any job out there, which is why I love the versatility in Kubota's BXB and L Series tractors. There's no task too big or small with Kubota tractors from Green & Sons. Visit greenandsons.com today or stop by their stores in Mount Sterling and in Raymond, north of Marysville, and get yourself a Kubota tractor that works as hard as I do.
Hey there, friends. It's Bo Bishop here, and High Bank Distillery is giving away free burgers for a year. You heard me. Free burgers for a year during 614's Burger and Beer Week, October 14th through the 19th. High Bank will be hosting a Battle of the Burgers. Stop at any of their 3 locations in Grandview, Gahanna, and Westerville. Order an $8 burger. Upload it to social media. Don't forget to tag High Bank, and you'll be entered to win free burgers for a year. Check out highbankco.com/battle for more details. Battle of the Burgers at High Bank, October 14th through the 19th.
This year's starting lineup at Honda Marysville is as strong as ever, so come see us.
Choose from Ohio's largest selection of Hondas and get 0% for 60 on any new CRV, HRV, Passport Pilot, or Ridgeline with the trade.
Honda's built here, Honda's sold here. Honda Marysville. We're closer than you think.
0% with approved credit and 80% of MSRP financed. 2010 or newer trade with KBB appraisal at $2,500 or more. Must take delivery from dealer stock 10/31/24.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. This is the Fans Game Day Scoreboard.
Brought to you by Valley Ford of Columbus.
Good afternoon. I'm Bodie Wells. We have several top 25 teams in action. Let's run through all the scores here. In the Red River rivalry, number 1 Texas leads number 18 Oklahoma 7-3. Number 4 Penn State is at Southern California. The Trojans lead that game 17-3. In South Bend, number 11 Notre Dame Clemson leads Stanford 21-7. Arizona and number 14 BYU are tied at 7-7. Cal is at number 22 Pittsburgh. The Panthers lead that game 17-9. And Purdue is on the road against number 23 Illinois. The Fighting Illini lead there 24-3. All of those games are late in the first half. One game still in the first quarter. Number 5 Georgia leads Mississippi State 10-3. In baseball, Lane Thomas hit a grand slam in the 5th inning to lead the Guardians to a 7-3 win over the Tigers today as they move on to the ALCS. This update is sponsored by Valley Ford of Columbus, Bronco Explorer, Mustang Mach-E, and more. You can ride into autumn with Valley Ford of Columbus. Breaking sports news when it happens right here on The Fan.
You're listening to the Curtis and Associates Fan Tailgate Show.
Curtis and Associates, attorneys who care. Call 614-GOT-HURT. That's 614-GOT-HURT.
Every game, every season, your home of the Buckeyes. The Fan.
All right, inching closer to kickoff. We're out here at Hollywood Casino Columbus getting you ready for the game. Anthony Rothman, Andy Katzenmoyer, Tim May out in Eugene. And watching some great games out here. Penn State already in serious problems at USC. You know, the second they got a number 4 put in front of their name, that was pressure that probably was going to make them wilt. Now, the game's not over. It's late, you know, in the second quarter.
USC is not known for their defense.
And they're holding them to 6.
Right.
Yeah. We knew we were going to get to see what Penn State was made of here once they got up to 4th in the country. And we'll see. You know, maybe at halftime they can circle it up a little bit. I did mention before we went to break about Ohio State and how good they've been in the red zone this season. It's almost been perfect. I mean, you go in there 21 times and you come out with 20 touchdowns and a field goal. I guess that is as close to perfection as you can get. Tonight, everybody knows it. It's pretty obvious about when you get in there, getting 7 instead of 3. You'll take points, of course. And I'll tell you what, if you're Oregon, you would have liked to have taken points last week. Even though they won the game, Gabriel was taking points off the scoreboard with those red zone picks. Not only red zone picks, they were almost like inside the 5. He was throwing interceptions in the end zone. But I do want to ask you this, Andy, on game day, because this is such a big game, and I think Buckeye fan would love to know, like once, as John Cooper used to say, the hay's in the barn. You figure, okay, there's nothing done on game day other than managing your emotion, managing your rest, and all that. We've talked about this time zone thing. If they got up at 9 a.m. Eastern today, that'd be 6 a.m. local. How much coaching, how much more detail is happening on game day? Did Fred Puggich take Andy Katzenmoyer aside and say, hey, I've got some new tendencies for you, big cat, on game day? Or are they trying to kind of keep your mind as quiet as possible on game day?
Well, if you have time to fill the day and you're waking up and trying to stay in rhythm and routine.
Let's say tonight you're playing.
Tonight, yeah, you have time to sit down, not necessarily individually. Maybe quarterback coach and the quarterback would, but for us defensively, it was more about keeping us all together and reminding us and maybe watching a few plays. But they've already planned that out. It's not like on the whim. They know what their day is going to be today, so they can get this team prepared to play tonight.
How much, as a former player, did you expect to receive from your position coach or head coach on game day leading up to kickoff? And I'm not talking about once you're in the game and you're getting adjustments. I'm talking about from the time you got up on game day to the time that ball gets kicked off. How much more were they putting in that brain of yours?
The college level, we would have some stuff, like I would go over with the coordinator about, down and distance, some small tendency stuff, going into the game, so that I can just convey that to the defense, because I was a signal caller. NFL, it's constant barrage of information. You're always being told and fed stuff, and again, it's more in a team environment, because that way everyone's on the same page. And if you have to make an adjustment on audible or check, whatever, on defense, then everyone understands what that check should be, because there's times where you may not be able to hear whatever's going on. So,
did you like, as a player at Ohio State, did you like keeping your mind as quiet as possible on game day, or were you welcoming that? Hey, coach, you got any more tendencies for me? Did you uncover something last night you haven't told me, or did you want to?
No, I mean, I always felt going into every game I ever played that I was confident about the information that we knew about the team, what our game plan was going to be, and how we were going to execute that. the information is information. You know, like if it helps me, pass that information off to the team, then so be it. But otherwise, I don't want useless information. I don't want just fluff. You gotta give me useful information so that way I don't have to necessarily think. I can just go.
Yeah.
Read, react, and fly the ball. You know.
Andy, yeah. What's the best thing you saw yourself on video prior to a game that you remember to this day that was a great tip that you found on your own? You understand what I'm saying? And you saw it again in the game and you went, boy, I'm glad I did that extra video watch.
So, that's a good question. So we played Tavian Banks. We played Iowa at home, and he was just running over people. I think he was averaging over 200 yards a game that year, and he came in and we shut him down. And early on, they came out in a formation where they'd only run one time before, like 3 games prior, and I knew exactly what that play was. It was like a toss sweep. And I as soon as the ball was snapped and I saw him take a half a step to my right or his left, I just flew. And I knew exactly that the person who was supposed to block me could not get me. Anyway, I tackled him for a 4 or 5 yard loss, and it kind of set the tone for the rest of the game.
Yeah.
Tim, what do you think?
Caleb Downs.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was going to ask you. You know, you've talked to these guys all week, and the coaches. What are they conveying to you that is the biggest challenge for them tonight? And I know it's easy to say, hey, we worry about ourselves, but this is an Oregon team that obviously brings a lot to the table. Is there anything that was a common denominator that you heard throughout the week on what they feel their biggest challenge is tonight?
Yeah, they're going against an athletic defensive front now. You know, we're like Paul Keels and even I talked about before that. You don't know the status of Jordan Birch until kickoff. Their massive defensive end leads them in sacks and is right up there in tackles for loss. I mean, he's had a tremendous first start of the game. But 6'6", 290, 295. You don't have a bunch of those sitting around who can run as fast as that guy. So, but the point is, this is a totally different challenge in the way they like to play on the defensive front. A lot of the games they play, you know what I mean, gambits, stunts, etc. But also occasionally they will shift, before the snap and throw you off. So you've got to have an offensive line that's quite limber mentally going into this game to be able to remember the cues. Remember if they do this, then you automatically don't have to be told by Seth McLaughlin, do this. You know where you're going, etc. So that's the challenge. And then defensively for Ohio State, I mean, Oregon's a multiplicitous, is that a correct term? But a multi-dimensional offense with a quarterback who can run. And when he's on. And like you pointed out in the red zone, sometimes shorter quarterbacks have a lot more difficulty throwing the ball in the red zone because the crowd in front of them is much more crowded, pardon the pun. And so, just trying to keep in your head, as Andy was talking about a while ago, just everything that they can do, but you still have to, you want to zero in on some cues that give you at least a hint of what's coming, because, Ohio State's got a lot of good guys on the sideline, but Connor Stallions ain't one of them.
Andy, Idaho, Boise State, Sparty, they brought pressure on him from different angles and different looks. You expect that from Jim Knowles tonight because of Gabriel being a little shorter, but obviously slippery. So what's the priority for the defense in trying to get after him from different looks?
I think the tendency so far this year for Jim Knowles has to been a little bit soft in the beginning of the game to kind of feel out how the opposing team's going to try to dissect them defensively. And then once he gets the field, then he starts bringing pressure. We saw it last week. We've seen it almost in every week that he's had to, where Ohio State comes out, kind of in a soft zone, maybe some man coverage, not bringing, just let the front and the linebackers kind of settle in and then bring it.
Yeah, that's what they're going to have to do. This kid is 81.5% completion going into the Michigan State game. That was the highest in FBS through the first 4 games in a dozen years. But he was only 20 of 32 against Sparty, 62.5%. And I mentioned all 3 of his picks have come in the red zone. So that's going to be a real game changer tonight if that happens.
Yeah, and that gives you, that's our common opponent. It gives you a little bit more of a feel. Ohio State's lucky that's kind of happened. It gives a little more of a feel of how they're going to match up with these guys, based on who they went against the week before. I think that's important for Ohio State in that regard. And, I just keep looking at these rosters. I still think Ohio State's got the edge, but this is a big game, and, who's going to throw that big haymaker first that really, sends it one way or the other.
Yeah, both teams, a lot of cohesiveness, a lot of chemistry. Oregon, which I say isn't really known for their defense, but they've got a lot of seniors on that defense. It's not just young kids or transferred in and all that. I mean, Betcher's a local kid from Eugene. He can really get after it. But all their guys, the kid that transferred from Washington, one of their DBs, Jabbar Muhammad, is a senior. Nico Reed, the other quarter's a senior. Kobe Savage is a senior. Their nickel's a senior. The strong safety's a senior. So they've been around, and they're at home tonight, and that's why this game is considered so close. Your kickoff forecast, sponsored by Byers Auto. Come see why it's better to buy from Byers. Beautiful, 75 degrees. We're very jealous. It was nice here today, but 75 degrees, Eugene, Oregon. A great night for football. It'll be in the 60s by the time it gets into the second half. So weather should not be a factor in a bad way. It should be outstanding football tonight. When we come back, Scotty Vegas slides in. We'll give you the latest odds, and we'll handicap this one on the Kurgis & Associates Fan Tailgate Show, live from Hollywood Casino Columbus on The Fan.
If you don't like listening to Morning Juice, Bobby Carpenter's man nipples will punch you in the face. For real.
You want to fight, do you? Weekdays from 6 to 9.
The Fan.
Engagement ring shopping doesn't have to be stressful. Join us at Diamond Cellar After Hours on October 17th. Sip some champagne, enjoy live music, and snag an exclusive discount on an engagement ring. And don't stress, you got 90 days to make your move. You can save up to $1,000 while enjoying a fun night out while we help you find the perfect ring. Plus, you'll have a chance to win Ohio State football tickets or Blue Jackets tickets in the new Diamond Cellar Club. RSVP at diamondcellar.com/after hours, and we'll see you October 17th at Diamond Cellar on Sawmill Road.
Football is all about winning, and so is the Hinderer Motor Company. This is Justin Hinderer. With 4 dealerships and a collision center, we've got everything you need to stay game day ready. Don't forget our Carvenience service, the most convenient way to service your vehicle. We pick it up, drop off a rental, and we bring it back to you when it's done. Plus, every vehicle comes with a lifetime powertrain warranty. Hinderer Motor Company, where convenience and confidence meet. Visit HindererMotorCompany.com. We love what moves you.
The higher your credit card rate, the longer it will take you to pay off your balances. Plus, you're paying a lot more interest than you need to. Switch to a Platinum Rewards Visa from Kemba Financial Credit Union with super low everyday rates on purchases, a full year interest-free on balance transfers, and unlock unlimited 2% cash back for a limited time. You'll also get exclusive perks like 24/7 support, ID theft protection, and roadside assistance. Apply at Kemba.org. Restrictions apply. Offer ends October 31st, 2024.
Hey fans, it's Bobby Carpenter here for QC Kinetics, the nation's leader in regenerative medicine that helps restore aching joints. So if you're tired of arthritic pain in your knees, hips, back, or shoulders, it's time to finally get relief, improve your mobility, and get back to doing the things you love with QC Kinetics. No pain, no meds, no surgery, no downtime. Call QC Kinetics today for a free consultation with my friend Dr. Ray Tesner. They have locations in Dublin or Gahanna. Call 380-208-4544 or go to qckinetics.com/Columbus.
Remember how that little girl in Poltergeist was in the TV? Yeah? Well, she's actually dead now. It's quite sad. Anyway, watch your favorite fan shows on your TV by subscribing to us on YouTube. Search 971 The Fan. Do it now.
Get out there and have some fun in a new Toyota with more all-wheel drive choices than anyone else. Like the best-selling RAV4. Now through November 4th, get 4.99 APR financing on a new gas-powered 2024 RAV4. Or lease a RAV4 LE for $339 a month for 36 months with $32.99 due at signing. With approved credit through TFS, tax, title, and license extra. Call 1-888-36-TOYOTA for details or go to Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Our clients deserve for us to care, and they deserve to feel serviced. They have questions, and they deserve answers. We're counselors first because I'm not selling them anything. I'm trying to teach clients how to protect themselves. At Kurgis & Associates, we're personal injury attorneys. We've helped and continue to help hundreds and hundreds of clients every year. That's important to us. If you've been injured in an accident and it's not your fault, call now. 614-GOT-HURT. That's 614-GOT-HURT. Kurgis & Associates. Attorneys who care.
Ready to be the change and have a positive impact on your community? Consider joining the Columbus Division of Police. Starting pay is $70,000 plus, growing to 6 figures after 4 years of service. We offer paid vacations, paid holidays, and health insurance. Do you aspire to complete your degree? We offer 100% tuition reimbursement after you complete your first year of service. Contact the CPD recruiting unit at jobs@columbuspolice.org or apply online at columbus.gov/government/jobs. The City of Columbus is an equal opportunity employer.
At Byers Auto, we've been football fans since 1897, back when tailgates had actual tails. Our legacy of supporting our local team is as strong as our commitment to providing exceptional vehicles. While we're known for our new cars, we also offer a variety of pre-owned vehicles that meet our rigorous standards. Our friendly staff is here to help you find the perfect vehicle for your lifestyle and budget. Visit us in person or shop online at buyersauto.com. Come see why it's better to buy at Byers.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
What a difference hours make as it warms up nicely for us in the afternoon. Temperatures will be in the upper 70s to low 80s, and we'll see that sunshine continue throughout most of the day with clouds increasing going into tonight. Partly cloudy skies overnight with lows dropping right around 60. And for Sunday, we have isolated rain chances in the forecast. Otherwise, expect a mix of sun and clouds and still mild with our daytime highs right around 80. But we will have breezy winds in the forecast. For The Fan, I'm meteorologist Meredith Garfalo.
Chicken wings, check. Drinks, check. Listening to The Fan, check. It must be game day.
Sponsored by Reichert Ford.
Your home of the Buckeyes, The Fan. Are you ready for another Buckeye victory? Because we sure are. You're listening to the Curtis and Associates Fan Tailgate Show.
Curtis and Associates, attorneys who care. Call 614-GOT-HEARD. That's 614-GOT-HEARD.
Your flagship home for Ohio State football, The Fan.
All right, outstanding to be out here at Hollywood Casino Columbus, where the buffet is getting set up, the drinks are flowing, the kiosks are humming, and our man Scotty Vegas is here to tell us all about it. My man, I do want to tell you one thing, though. A trend was busted today.
Okay.
And
what do you got?
Was always bet against the team the next week after they play Ohio State, and Iowa would have burned you today if you did that.
So that is certainly one of the trends that we like to track, although there's another trend that will go opposite in that same game, because Washington, of course, had to travel a couple time zones to play that game against Iowa. And here's one of the crazy trends that's going on in the Big Ten right now is teams that are traveling 2 time zones are now 1-9 straight up in games. And by the way, it's very likely that it's going to get to 1-10 because Penn State is struggling at USC. Now, we want Ohio State to end that bad trend for the Big Ten, but that's going to be a wild ride.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you pointed it out. I mean, Ohio State is the trend buster if there was any. Both these coaches also not necessarily known for their big game chops, right? I mean, Dan Lanning's 0 for 3 against top 5, and certainly Ryan Day has struggled against those top 5 opponents, even though he has an outstanding overall record. But you're exactly right. Indiana at UCLA is the only one that's been able to pull off the going 2 time zones away, whether it's east-west or west-east. So, by the way, I do want to get your feeling on the trend of this game. Where was this game, do you remember, preseason spread? And to where it is now.
Yeah, it's wild, Anthony. I've actually been watching this spread, I feel like, for months, because obviously we've had this game circled for a very long time. And I remember preseason, it kind of was going back and forth between Ohio State being a 1-point favorite. It got to Oregon being a 1-point favorite right before the season. Oregon gets then off to kind of a slow start, barely gets by Boise State early in the year. And so you see that number go to Ohio State -2.5, and that's kind of where it was for a while. And then after Ohio State took care of Iowa last week, when the line was posted on Sunday morning, it got past that key number of 3, and Ohio State was a 3.5-point favorite when it was posted. And I'll tell you right now, it's kind of going back and forth throughout the day. I have seen it as low as 2.5, but right now here at Hollywood Casino Columbus, it is Ohio State minus 3.5. The money line is minus 175 for Ohio State, plus 140 for Iowa, which means a $100 bet on Ohio State just to win the game outright on the money line would pay $58.
Oof. Yeah. Well, listen, I think that everyone believes that Ohio State is a different beast than anything Oregon has seen, and certainly maybe Oregon, give them some respect, is a different beast than what Ohio State has seen. But when you get a kind of a feel for this, so when it went to the 4, so then obviously that was enough for Oregon people to say, I'm going to take the points, and they bet it back down. So where do you like it tonight?
It's
such a small spread.
I like moving lines, right? So that line is Ohio State minus 3.5. I would take Ohio State. If I'm going to play the line, I would move it down to 2.5.
I did that already.
Pay the juice, right? The fact that is if you get a game-winning field goal at the end, then you want it to be at 2.5 and not at 3.5. So that's where I am. But this is a trend that I found this week that I found very, very interesting, and I'm curious if you guys have noticed this. Andy, so Ohio State in third quarters this year has been absolutely ridiculously good, right? Coming out of the halftime break, they have outscored opponents 133-3. Wild. Basically, so against Iowa, they won the third quarter 21-0. They won the third quarter against Michigan State 14-0. Against Marshall 14-0. Against Western Michigan 14-0. And against Akron 21-3. So Ohio State has been playing really, really well in third quarters. And the crazy thing is, you think, okay, Oregon probably is too. They're running up scores as well. Oregon in third quarters has scored a total of 29 points in the same number of games. 5 games, they've scored 29 in the third quarter. Wow. Ohio State has scored 133. So that'll be an interesting thing to look at, is where this game is at halftime.
So you're saying bet the second half.
Bet potentially look and reassess at halftime where this game is, and know that Ohio State has been coming out of the gates in the third quarter really strong.
That's a pretty cool stat there. Yeah. So I got a question. So last week there was a big shakeup as far as in college football. How does that change the odds for national championship?
So we saw, obviously, the big one was Alabama losing, right? And Alabama was kind of tied with Ohio State, or very close with Ohio State as far as the odds. After that win over Georgia, Alabama was a slight favorite in most places to be the national championship favorite. And then Ohio State was right behind them. Now Ohio State is a pretty clear favorite as far as the odds go. And then second is Texas. So that was kind of the change. Once Alabama lost, they kind of fell out. And now you see Alabama today look terrible, right? They lost to Vanderbilt last week, and everybody thought, okay, maybe that's a fluky game, and so they were a huge favorite. They were a 3-touchdown favorite today, and could have easily lost that game to South Carolina.
Should have lost.
Yeah.
Tim, fire away.
So where do we go from here, Scotty? Lead us. I mean, it's kind of crazy. It is college football. What was your take on Penn State at USC, and how is that jiving with what you're watching?
You know, that's a funny question, Tim, because I was on Penn State. And look, it's a 14-point game at the half. They could come back. Yeah, because if you watched USC last week, they just looked awful down the stretch against a bad Minnesota team, right? And they lost to a really crappy Michigan team. But you're right. It's this time zone thing. And a lot of times in sports betting, you look at trends and you're like, okay, this is a 10-game trend, right, of the multi-time zone, with being 1 and 9 when you're traveling 2 or more time zones. And a lot of times, if it's 10 games, do you really trust it yet? Well, now we're seeing more and more things happen, and this is continuing to happen. So basically, now that we're seeing more and more add to this trend, now I am starting to get a little bit of a feel that maybe that is a factor. Because during the offseason, everyone talked about the travel being important in the Big Ten.
So I mentioned to you guys. Go ahead, Tim.
Go ahead. I mean, I was just going to point out, Miami, California last week started at like 9:15 Eastern time, I think. Minnesota at UCLA tonight starts at 9 p.m. Eastern time. You know what I mean? I mean, it's almost like they're adding another time zone to it when you really get right down to it.
Yeah. Listen, I pointed this out. I don't know what's going to happen tonight. We all assume it's going to be a very good game. I think we're on Ohio State's side as far as how they've looked for the 5 weeks versus how Oregon's looked for the 5 weeks. But I pointed this out to you guys before the season. We will find out what Oregon's made of tonight, and then guess what? They go to West Lafayette, go all the way back to Eugene to play Illinois. You go to Ann Arbor the next week, fly all the way back to Eugene to play Maryland. Then go all the way to Madison the following week. No bye weeks across the country, back and forth. We'll see how they withstand that, and then we'll know how serious this trend was. I do want to ask Scotty this, though. Before the season, we all asked ourselves what percentage chance would we give Ohio State to win it all?
Yeah.
I said I'm going to give them at least a coin flip chance. I put in 50%. Everybody looked at me like I had three heads. Like, that's way too high. And now I want to know what's going on in your mind with this college football season. Are you ready to go tick your percentage up from where you were, 35?
Yeah, I was about 30%. And look, you know that I've invested in Ohio State this year, and I think they are the best team in the country. However, I think that percentage is way too high because if you look at the potential bracket for Ohio State. Okay. All right, I was looking at this. So Ohio State right now it would be a 2 seed, and they would play the winner, Anthony, of the 7-10 matchup. And guess what? The 7-10 right now is projected to have Georgia in it.
Here, though, right?
Yeah, no.
Oh,
that would be a
quarterfinal
game. That would be a neutral site. And so you're talking about Ohio State would have to play Georgia in the 2-7 matchup. And so that, to me, is almost a coin flip. And then you're talking about a semifinal game, which to me is probably going to be close to a coin flip. And then you're talking about a championship game. So I'm nowhere near. My 30% is probably too high. I'm probably more thinking 1-4 at this point.
You're thinking Ohio State has a 25% chance to win the national title right now.
I would say, and that's kind of what the odds would say.
I know,
as well.
That's what Vegas is telling us, and you're right. You got to beat more than one, but I just wanted to get your feeling on that.
Yeah, and one other thing I wanted to bring up with you, Anthony, too, because, guys, this is wild because Oregon is so rarely a home underdog. In fact, 33 straight games at home, Oregon's been the favorite. They haven't been an underdog since they played Washington in 2018. Now, the good news is, for the Buckeyes, if you're a top 5 team, you're at home, and you are an underdog, the history would show you lose that game. It's funny because actually you go back more than 30 years. Top 5 teams playing at home that are underdogs are actually 19-53 straight up. So home teams, top 5, are losing when they're an underdog at home.
And Dan Lanning's 0 for 3 as an underdog.
There you go.
So we'll
That's
find
a stunning
out.
stat.
Good stuff. So what are we doing? Playing Ohio State? We're either teasing it down to 2.5 or playing them on the money line?
Yeah, I'm also taking the under. I think it's going to be a lower scoring game. The number is 54.5. I'm going to go a little under because Ohio State's averaging, their pace of play is kind of 86th in the country. I think it's going to be a lower scoring game than what a lot of people think.
Unless Oregon, their tempo takes it in another way. Thanks, Scotty Vegas. Handicapping out here at Hollywood Casino Columbus. We'll come back with our keys to the game. Game day coverage sponsored by Reichert Ford on the Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
1, 2, 3. Here in the Fan is always football o'clock. Proud to be your home of the Buckeyes, Browns, and all the NFL games you can handle. The Fan.
Gambling too much or just can't seem to cut your losses? I'm Abdullah Mahmood, pub and gambling counselor at Maryhaven. Whether it's you or someone you love, we're here to help you control gambling before it controls you. With in-person, virtual, and group options, Maryhaven is here for you no matter what. And that's a bet you can actually count on this football season. Confidential and judgment-free, go to maryhaven.com today. That's maryhaven.com.
If your air conditioning or furnace stops working in the middle of the night, on a weekend, or over a holiday, there's no reason to wait to get it fixed. For 100 years, Atlas Butler has been here for your family. We're always open, we work on all furnace and air conditioner brands, and it's easy and convenient to request service. Call today, get it fixed today. That's our pledge to you.
Atlas Butler is at your service. Call 1-800-FURNACE.
Hey folks, it's Austin Ward. Thanksgiving's coming up fast. So while you're counting your blessings, why not add a thankful 30 to the list? With Awaken 180 weight loss, you could drop 30 pounds by Thanksgiving. Or even 40 if you get the same results I did. I dropped my first 30 pounds in just over a month, and let me tell you, it's a game changer. Imagine this. While everyone else is debating the play calling in the big games, you're sitting at the dinner table feeling lighter, more energetic, and thankful for the 30 pounds no longer holding you back. If I can drop 55 pounds with Awaken 180, I know you can hit the Thankful 30 by Turkey Day. It's simple. It's laid out for you. And as you all know by now, it doesn't include a lifetime of medications. That's why I chose Awaken 180. Be thankful this year by dropping your 30 or more pounds. Head to awaken180weightloss.com and reserve your consultation today. It's fast, proven, and as you all know, the weight will stay off thanks to free support for life. Awaken180weightloss.com.
If you miss a little, you'll miss a lot. Search for your favorite fan shows wherever you get your podcasts and subscribe. Every episode comes right to your phone absolutely free. Modern technology, it's a hell of a thing. Do it now. The Fan.
Attention, small business or sole proprietors. Do you want to save money on health care for your business? Be able to cover your employees with the best dental, doctors, and hospitals? Hey, it's Bobby Carpenter for the SACA Benefit Plan. Nearly 100,000 members strong in the state of Ohio. The SACA Benefit Plan is administered by Anthem and could be right for you. Small businesses, visit 844medohio.com. That's medohio.com. The SACA Benefit Plan could be right for you. Visit 844medohio.com.
Get Eco.
ECO.
Hey, Jerry, I think I invented something. Does it solve a problem? It solves a big problem.
Get Eco.
ECO.
Heating and cooling companies are telling people your furnace and AC isn't worth fixing. You need to replace it with a whole new system.
You invented a solution for that?
I invented a way to fix those systems for free.
Get Eco.
ECO.
That's a great invention. How does it work?
Step 1 is to pay Eco to fix it.
I thought you said you'd fix it for free.
Step 2 is that we give you back all the money that you paid us, up to $1,500 when you get Eco to replace it.
Get Eco.
ECO.
What if your repair keeps my system running for several more years?
That would mean you got all those extra years for free.
Paying Eco to fix your furnace is like putting money in the bank.
Get Eco.
ECO.
Get Eco.
ECO.
Get Eco.
ECO.
Eco plumbers, electricians, and HVAC technicians.
Get Eco.com.
When the leaves fall, so do the prices at Valley. Drive into autumn in a 2024 Ford Bronco at up to $9,500 off MSRP. Lease a new Escape Active, just $289 a month for 36 months for a limited time. Drive away a new Ford Edge SE and save up to $7,500 off MSRP. For these deals and more, get to Valley Ford of Columbus, the official dealership of wide receiver Carnell Tate.
Keep on trucking with Valley Ford of Columbus.
This is the Fans Game Day Scoreboard.
Brought to you by Valley Ford of Columbus.
Good afternoon. I'm Buddy Wells. We have several top 25 teams in action. Let's run through the scores here. In the Red River rivalry, number 1 Texas is rolling number 18 Oklahoma 21-3. Number 4 Penn State is at Southern Cal. The Trojans lead that game 20-6. In South Bend, number 11 Notre Dame leads Stanford 21-7. Number 14 BYU leads at home against Arizona 14-7. Cal is at number 22 Pittsburgh. The Panthers lead that game 17-9. And Purdue is on the road against number 23 Illinois. The Illini lead there 27-3. All those games are at halftime or early in the third quarter. One game that's still in the first half, number 5 Georgia leads Mississippi State 13-10. In baseball, Lane Thomas's 5th inning grand slam leads the Guardians to a 7-3 win over the Tigers as Cleveland heads to the ALCS. This update is sponsored by Valley Ford of Columbus. From F-150 to F-750, Valley Ford of Columbus is Ohio's commercial truck headquarters.
This is the Curtis and Associates Fan Tailgate Show.
Curtis and Associates, attorneys who care. Call 614-GOT-HEARD. That's 614-GOT-HEARD.
If you're listening to the Buckeyes, you're listening to us. Your home for Ohio State Athletics. The Fan. Today's keys to the game are sponsored by Toyota.
Brought to you by your Central Ohio Toyota dealers. Visit Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
All right, getting after it here at Hollywood Casino Columbus, watching the games, eating some great food, great fans that will be here all night tonight. A lot of keys to this game. You know, listen, I look at Ohio State's defense, and I know they got to stop Jordan James. And like I said, he got it 26 times against Sparty. We'll see if he wants to run into that Ohio State brick wall that many times tonight, and whether he can run through him or not. He's a very physical runner. But this Ohio State defense, the pressure rate and what they can bring to Dylan Gabriel is my key tonight, because they've been bringing that pressure almost 50%. It's equaled 17 sacks. They've only allowed 9 plays of 20 yards or more. That may sound like a lot to Buckeye fan, but it really isn't. That's tied for the fewest in FBS. They're not giving up the chunk plays, and I think that's really what it's become. is, Oregon, I know they can get after the quarterback, but Tim, anything on Jordan Birch right now?
No, I haven't gotten any true update yet, and I think we'll get one, probably just after we go off the air, but Paul and Jim will fill you in, but I would think he's not going to be 100% for sure, and because, you read about it and heard about it, but he was in considerable pain when he left the practice field, and in lower body, that what is that? A sprain? Is that a ligament sprain? That can cover a lot of bases. So
yeah,
but that is key, man. As Josh Fryer even admitted, when I asked him about it on Wednesday, that's a scary looking dude, and that doesn't mean you don't face the challenge and get after him and stuff, but you take a guy of that magnitude, not just the size, but the production away. That's hard to fill that back in.
Yeah, so I was leading to my big key, which is be who you are, meaning I don't see Oregon methodically driving the ball on this defense all night long. What you could see is some big plays, and that's been not who Ohio State's been this year, giving up big plays. Jordan James, who I mentioned, broke off a 41-yarder against Sparty. Terrence Ferguson, their tight end, broke off a 62-yarder. Tez Johnson got it 10 times. Andy, for me, it's let's not see that rear its ugly head, the big chunk plays. And I guess I would hand it to you. Is there anything that you coach differently in that regard if you wanted to prevent that? Can they stay as aggressive? I think I ask you this every week. How aggressive can you be with also not fearing the risk of giving up a big play?
I feel like for the last 2 years, last year, Ohio State defense, there was an emphasis on not giving up big plays, period. They didn't blitz very much last year. They kind of played very soft and just let teams drive down the field and hopefully kick them, either force a turnover or hold them to 3 points. This year, same mindset as far as big plays, but they're being more aggressive. I think Jim Knowles understands he has corners and safeties and linebackers that can cover, and then he can bring blitzes from everywhere, and he has, which is awesome to see. But I think this game will come down to, I agree with your point, I don't think that Oregon will be able to establish the run off the jump. I think they'll put the ball in the quarterback's hand to see if they can soften the defense and then try to run the ball.
That kid from Boise State, Ashton Genty, Tim, ran wild on Oregon earlier this year. Do you think, is there a vulnerability that Chip Kelly sees there? Like, if he can exploit it, so can we.
Yeah, and the thing that was kind of stunning, and of course it was early in the year, obviously, first or second game, I'm going to mix up my head right.
Second, I believe,
because they played mighty Idaho the week before. So they took care of the state of Idaho in 2 fell swoops. But the bottom line is the way he ran through some tackles. Now he, fellas, is a special talent just because he's at Boise State. But I'll tell you who runs a lot like him is Quinshon Judkins. And if you're Ohio State, I've said this many times when they played Georgia, and sometimes when they didn't do the things like I thought they should or could to really kind of, establish their beachhead, you got to run right at a team like this. Not this wide stuff, because this is a fast Oregon defense. You got to run right at these guys. You're going to take your lumps a little bit early in that regard, but if you keep knocking on that wall, eventually you knock a hole in it. And I think Chip Kelly's smart enough to understand that. And, the way he can mix and match just in the running game is kind of astounding if you really sit back and enjoy it. And so that has to be much of their approach tonight. And, boy, if you could get something going in the running game, like we talked about last week, I use that. If you stop A, if you stop B, and if you stop C, they've still got D, Ohio State does, and E with the running quarterback in Will Howard. So that's the challenge for Oregon defensively, is to sell out stopping the run, but backside slant to Brandon Ennis last week for a first down on 4th and 2. Are you kidding me? Where'd that come from? So that's really Oregon's challenge as much as it is Ohio State.
Yeah, if you want to bet into another little bit of a trend here, or at least believe in it, for me, it's if Ohio State can be very good on first and second and keep this Oregon offense in third, medium to long. I looked at the percentages. Gabriel's completion percentage, and he's been as efficient as anybody in the country. That thing drops like a rock. It drops to 20% when he's drops 20% when he's pressured. So if you can bring that pace and that pressure, Andy, then all of a sudden you turn a smaller quarterback into a little bit of maybe a scrambler.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's other trends and other predictions that Ohio State understands and knows about, as far as if they can get the Oregon offense in a certain down and distance, and I'm sure a certain part of the field, how they can dial up pressure, and they will.
Yeah, that's the stuff I was talking about, giving Andy more to study on game day.
Yeah, but it's
that's right.
I don't give me enough just before the game, and then during the game you're going to give me more information because it's like live action, you know.
Exactly. They're playing their hand as opposed to accumulating their hand as they play the game. I'll tell you a guy, and Paul Keels brought him up earlier, but I talked to him on Wednesday a little bit with JT Tuimoloau. Number one, he had to get 24 tickets for this game, so there's a number. But he's quietly having a pretty effective season, and has, in my opinion, has gotten more effective as as the season's gone on. And he and Jack Sawyer, man, this could be the moment because, Tyleik Williams. You saw the defense without Tyleik Williams for a couple games. Then you saw him with him. It's a totally different defense, man. When you got that guy in the middle along with Ty Hamilton, everybody's healthy tonight. There's nobody listed as even a game time decision or questionable on Ohio State. So that defensive front could play profound statement. Could play a huge role tonight in really setting the tone, not letting a Dylan Gabriel escape much. Make him stand in that pocket where it's hard to see over those big guys.
No doubt. Keys to the game, sponsored by your Central Ohio Toyota dealers. Visit Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places. When we come back, we'll do one final check-in with the voice of the Buckeyes, Paul Keels, and we'll give our score predictions. This is the Kurgis and Associates Fan Tailgate Show. Remember, they don't get paid unless you get paid. We're live at Hollywood Casino Columbus, where you can get paid if you get out here, right here on The Fan.
Bo Bishop is a media legend. We have no idea where the other guys came from. Bishop and Friends.
Weekdays from 9 to noon.
The Fan.
We're dealing at Reichert Ford. That means we got the car you need at the price you want. But don't take it from me. Hear it from
Ohio State captain Travion Henderson.
Reichert has what I'm looking for.
Jack Sawyer.
Grew up watching these guys on TV. My family's bought tons of cars for them.
Cody Simon.
You get the right car at Reichert. With our lowest prices and 72-hour exchange policy, you can't buy the wrong car.
$2,500 low price guarantee.
Thousands of vehicles are waiting. ReichertFord.com. Get the right car at Reichert. We're dealing.
Integrity, honesty, and quality. Words we live by here at Monogram Homes. Hi, this is Dina. And at Monogram Homes, we strive to bring your wants to your man cave, your needs to your kitchen, and your ideas to life. Most home builders claim to be custom, but starting with stock floor plans and templates isn't our idea of a tailored experience. At Monogram Homes, we start with a blank slate and work with you until you get exactly what you want. So start your true custom home journey today with a builder you can trust. Monogram Homes. Visit us online at monogramhomes.net.
Martha was ready to switch to a career in IT.
There's always a need for IT specialists, especially with AI coming out and cybersecurity. It's practically recession-proof.
My Computer Career even provides job placement help.
The career specialists, they're very helpful. They care about you as a person. You're not just a number to them. I would recommend My Computer Career wholeheartedly to anyone.
Take the free career evaluation today. Become an IT pro in just months with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu.
Our clients deserve for us to care, and they deserve to feel serviced. They have questions, and they deserve answers. We're counselors first because I'm not selling them anything. I'm trying to teach clients how to protect themselves. At Kurgis & Associates, we're personal injury attorneys. We've helped and continue to help hundreds and hundreds of clients every year. That's important to us. If you've been injured in an accident and it's not your fault, call now. 614-GOT-HURT. That's 614-GOT-HURT. Kurgis & Associates. Attorneys who care.
Here's a quick listening guide. When something's on The Fan, it's on the station you're listening to right now. If I say something's on ESPN Columbus, it's on 1460 AM and The Fan's HD2. When in doubt, stream it on The Fan app. Thank you and good night.
Hi, I'm Laura De Leon, president of KeyBank in Central Ohio.
At Key, we're all about helping our neighbors. As your bank, we understand that we have both the ability and the responsibility to help our neighbors thrive. Whether they're trying to buy a car to take them to their new job, or tackle debt that feels unmanageable, or simply trying to do more with what they have, Key Bank is there to meet them in that moment. Key Bank opens doors.
All credit products are subject to credit approval. Key Bank, member FDIC.
Hello, I am a serious announcer hired to deliver a serious announcement. Get an Apex Pros winter tune-up for your furnace right now for only $29. Notice we are simply giving you the facts. Just $29 to make sure your furnace is ready for the upcoming Ohio winter. We know how you enjoy our usual fun and funny commercials. Hello? Beg pardon? Well, I see no reason to bring my mother into this. Good day to you, sir. Where was I? Oh, yes. A $29 tune-up will make sure your furnace runs safely and warmly all winter. That's serious. I'm serious. That's why we're not doing the usual that you've come to expect from Apex Pros. None of this or this nonsense. $29 for a furnace tune-up from Apex Pros. The pros who knows? Knows? Is that really how you say it? The pros who...
Apex Pros, the official plumber of the Columbus Blue Jackets. ApexPros.com.
Get out there and have some fun in a new Toyota. With more all-wheel drive choices than anyone else, anything's possible. Like the family-size Highlander with room for up to 8. Now through November 4th, you can lease a Highlander XLE all-wheel drive for $489 a month for 36 months with $32.99 due at signing. With approved credit through TFS. Tax, title, and license extra. Call 1-888-36-TOYOTA for details or go to Toyota.com. Toyota. Let's go places.
All your favorite fan shows are available when you want them.
Head to 971thefan.com and hit that subscribe button.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. Hello, I like football. I have nothing clever to say. This is the Curtis and Associates Fan Tailgate Show.
Curtis and Associates, attorneys who care. Call 614-GOT-HURT. That's 614-GOT-HURT.
Your home of the Buckeyes, the Fan, Ohio sports destination.
All right, getting close to the network pregame and the call, and the man who will be on that mic for us will be Paul Keels. Our final check-in is sponsored by Byers Imports. Byers Imports, Hamilton Road by the airport. Paul, what's coming up?
Well, coming up as always, Anthony, we'll hear from both head coaches, Dan Lanning from Oregon and Ohio State's Ryan Day. Buckeye offensive coordinator Chip Kelly, former head coach here at Oregon. We'll talk about how the Ohio State offense has progressed and what they need to do. Clay Hall will talk with Ohio State tight end G. Scott, who's not too far away from his hometown area here. We'll hear from Jerry Allen, the longtime radio voice of the Ducks, about what their season has been like to date. Tyvis Powell, former Ohio State safety and part of that 2014 National Championship team, will relive some of the memories he had of that title game as well as the season leading up to it. And as always, we will have our award-winning, world-famous Italian festival, Faber College Shamalama Ding Dong 2014 National Championship, Beppe and Gianni's Keep on Ducking version of Buckeye Flashback with a Hall of Famer, Skip Mossick. That's coming up shortly.
Paul, at halftime, just keep your hands and feet away from Lachey's mouth, and you'll be in good shape.
And I'm sure we'll have lots to talk about.
Yeah, absolutely. So, let the unacceptable candidates worry about that, Paul, because after tonight you are. All right,
there
well
you
done.
Are. All right,
we are in a great mindset here. For some old school guys like Paul and myself, Animal House was filmed on Oregon's campus, and so there's a lot of nostalgia there for us. We brought up keys of the game, and the other part about this, we talk about the quarterback Dylan Gabriel and what he likes to do. This is a secondary game for Ohio State. This is a game where that secondary has to be ready to go. Tez Johnson has 43 grabs in 5 games, and I mentioned Terrence Ferguson, their tight end. It's a pretty outstanding weapon himself, but with Denzel Burke and IGB and Lathan Ransom, this is a nice level up for them, Andy, as far as the challenge they face tonight with this quarterback and his weapons.
Absolutely. Ohio State coming in the game has the number 1 defense in the country. They're 4th against the pass and 3rd against the run. And scoring-wise, they're also 1st. So, yes, that's a product of, I think, who they've played, how every week, they keep on leveling up as far as the challenges and difficulties. But this will be a big leap, and But you have to like the experience that our secondary has, especially in this kind of environment, and just come out there and just make plays. They don't do anything crazy. Just play within themselves, do their job, and just make plays. They'll be fine.
Tim, when you talk to these guys this week about facing Dillon Gabriel, what was coming up in their thoughts this week?
Can't let him go off on them from the standpoint of running the ball. You got to, it's so classic. Keep things in front of you. Make sure tackles. That is the key in a game like this. Maybe it's basics, but if you watch any game early in the game, sometimes miss tackles because nobody practices really tackling anymore in a true sense during the week. But things like that. But you got a name, man. Caleb Downs, man. One of the reasons they wanted him was for games like this, and what a setting. And then Lathan Ransom. I think those still are, in my opinion, the two best. It is the best safety tandem in college football this year. Both of these guys with big game chops, so to speak. And you heard Jim Knowles talk about it last week. He's activated Caleb Downs, and he's already activated Lathan Ransom a long time ago. But that's got to be key to watching. And also in the slot, Jordan Hancock done a hell of a job this year, and I think it really bodes well for Ohio State that both Igbenos and Denzel Burke have gotten big interceptions before going into this game and stuff. So, yeah, there are going to be challenges. Oregon's going to make some plays on offense. They're too good not to. The key is, like it is always, right, Andy, is keep them from scoring more points than you do.
That's right.
Carnell Tate, he's feeling okay, Tim, for this one?
Looks like it. The teams haven't come out to start really working out yet. I was talking to some Oregon guys during that break a minute ago, and they're as curious as anybody to see what Jordan Birch's situation is. And the defensive linemen don't really come out and warm up until about 40 minutes before the game. So everybody's on pins and needles in that regard. But yeah, Carnell Tate, man, that's like I said, ABCD, right? You take away Jeremiah Smith somehow, you take away Emeka Egbuka somehow, and boom, you got Carnell Tate, who was as highly touted almost as highly touted as either one of those two guys. So that's what Oregon's got to deal with tonight, along with Brandon Ennis and Bryson Rogers, who showed out last week, made big catches in that game. Ohio State's first true test against Iowa, and I thought played extremely well.
Yeah, listen, Jeremiah Smith, I mean, he only needs one hand to get it done, it seems like lately. One hand
that's all he has, right?
To box out, and then the other, throw up that glove and let it just plop in there, man.
Dude, that was unbelievable. That was like the old time centers in the NBA, pushing the guy back with one arm and catching the lob in with the other. I mean, it was classic, and just man, he's just every week you see something different and new about him that's spectacular. It's been quite the show so far.
We made it through all the way to the show, and I know we brushed on Will Howard, but I am curious about Bright Light's big game now. He's been very good, very efficient. He's had a couple of bonehead picks. They can all have them. It hasn't cost them, clearly. They've given up, 34 points in 5 games. They're averaging, giving up less than a touchdown a game. Right. Tonight's different, though, and how many points he will need to lead his Buckeyes to is yet to be seen. But, Andy, any curiosity about Will Howard for this one? Anything that pops up in your mind like, you know what, I got to still see it in this one before I know about him?
No, not really. To me, no. I don't think that I think Will Howard understood coming into Ohio State and having the weapons in the backfield and that being a priority. And then secondarily going to the receivers and having the explosive power out there as far as, you can run a 2-yard screen and it goes to the house at any time with any 3 guys. So I think as long as Will Howard keeps in rhythm, can distribute the ball when need be, and make a big play once or twice this game, we should be fantastic.
Yeah. Feels like this is going to be a real tight in the chin strap game for him too, Tim. He knows how to go get it when needed.
Yeah, and let's don't beat around the bush. Your quarterback has to play well in these games. I mean, because he can hurt you sometimes more than he can help you if you follow my drift. I mean, and I think Will Howard, man, he's as poised and as mature young man as I've run into. But Dillon Gabriel's in his 6th year playing college football, so clearly both these quarterbacks are the key to everything that's going on. I just think, as Andy pointed out, Will has more guys who can help him get out of jams with just a little flick of a wide screen, or Judkins running through a guy in the hole and going for 19 yards, like we talked about a while ago, or maybe taking it to the house. Travion Henderson the same way. Travion Henderson's running different than he ran the last couple of years. He's running physical. I was talking about just breezing this, shooting the breeze with Carlos Lachey for a couple of seconds yesterday after he got off the bus. Yeah, so it's
need a score from you, big dog.
I got to look at Ohio State 34-24.
Andy.
Ooh, I have Ohio State 35-24.
Oh, we're giving them all 24s across the board. I got them 31-24.
Okay.
All right, outstanding. Get out here for everybody, for Jen, Cam, Scotty Vegas, everybody that helped us out here. Cole back in the studio, great job. Enjoy Buckeye football. The network show is coming up next. Keep it locked here, right on the Fan.
The Fan is live and local with Morning Juice, Caffeinate, and Dominate.
Weekday mornings from 6 to 9.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
First down!
Oh, what? Just cleared that drain last week.
Well, clearly that didn't work. Would you please just call the waterworks?
At the Waterworks, we mean clean. We'll get your drains good as new on the first down. And as for him, well, there's always the Buckeyes. The Waterworks. Better care, better value, better results.
When the leaves fall, so do the prices at Valley. Drive into autumn in a 2024 Ford Bronco at up to $9,500 off MSRP. Lease a new Escape Active, just $289 a month for 36 months for a limited time. Drive away a new Ford Edge SE and save up to $7,500 off MSRP. For these deals and more, get to Valley Ford of Columbus, the official dealership of wide receiver Carnell Tate.
Keep on trucking with Valley Ford of Columbus.
1 in 3 student athletes gets disturbing messages from sports bettors. This threatens the safety and mental health of college athletes like Tyler.
I'm a student and an athlete. I don't deserve to be threatened over my play. If you're upset about your sports bet, don't take it out on me, because I'm more than a bet.
These threats are not acceptable. Stop harassing college athletes over a bet. Learn more at morethanabet.org.
Gambling too much or just can't seem to cut your losses? I'm Abdullah Mahmood, pub and gambling counselor at Maryhaven. Whether it's you or someone you love, we're here to help you control gambling before it controls you. With in-person, virtual, and group options, Maryhaven is here for you no matter what. And that's a bet you can actually count on this football season. Confidential and judgment-free, go to maryhaven.com today. That's maryhaven.com.
Football season is here, and so is tailgating season. Are you ready? If not, let Columbus Car Audio and Accessories help you get the latest and best accessories for your ride. Upgrade your sound system so everyone around can hear what team you're rooting for. Add mobile video and never miss a game on the road. Add style and privacy with window tint, and avoid scraping ice this winter by adding a remote starter. Choose Columbus Car Audio and Accessories when it comes to customizing your ride. Morse Road near Easton, Main Street in Reynoldsburg, or columbuscaraudio.com.
This year's starting lineup at Honda Marysville is as strong as ever, so come see us.
Choose from Ohio's largest selection of Hondas and get 0% for 60 on any new CRV, HRV, Passport, Pilot, or Ridgeline with a trade.
Honda's built here, Honda's sold here. Honda Marysville. We're closer than you think.
0% with approved credit and 80% of MSRP financed. 2010 or newer trade with KBB appraisal at $2,500 or more. Must take delivery from dealer stock 10/31/24.
The higher your credit card rate, the longer it will take you to pay off your balances. Plus, you're paying a lot more interest than you need to. Switch to a Platinum Rewards Visa from Kemba Financial Credit Union with super low everyday rates on purchases, a full year interest-free on balance transfers, and unlock unlimited 2% cash back for a limited time. You'll also get exclusive perks like 24/7 support, ID theft protection, and roadside assistance. Apply at Kemba.org. Restrictions apply. Offer ends October 31st, 2024.
You want Jersey Mike's signature sub, you get a number 13 original Italian. You want a dramatic radio idea? You get me. Like this. I'm the 7th string quarterback, and the other 6 quarterbacks go down. The coach yells, DeVito, you're in. The crowd is worried until I throw a touchdown. But the other team is celebrating. Apparently, I threw the Jersey Mike's number 13 original Italian I was eating on the sidelines. Whoops. The number 13 original Italian, Jersey Mike,